Hi, welcome to Universal Interiors. My name is Leslie Ingolstead and my husband Jeffrey is here in the kitchen with me. This might be the first. I get a partner in the kitchen. I don't know if you know the rules here, Jeffrey, but in the kitchen you got to hold your core in. It's kind of a workout while...
Okay.
Okay, just so you know that.
I'll try to keep that in mind.
He's a fatty.
All right.
Okay. Go ahead. We're going to work on twice baked potatoes today. It's good.
In our younger day, back in living in Crested Butte, I worked at a restaurant called Soup's On. And it was a French restaurant. And so this is one of the recipes that I took from that experience because I was an assistant cook there. So anyway, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through this step by step on how to make twice baked potatoes. It's not very hard.
But delicious.
It is very, very delicious. It's really fun to have around. We will typically make like maybe 20 of these things, give some away, put some in the fridge for dinner later on, and then they freeze really well, so we put them in like a package of 3 or 4 in a bag and put them in the freezer, which is really great to pull out. You know, you're making steaks or you're making fish, and hey, we got twice baked, let's pull those out too. So it's a wonderful accent with a lot of different foods. So we'll just go through it step by step. Let's just start first, and if you're a beginner cook, let's start with the baked potato. Okay, this is a raw one. So typically what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to rinse off the dirt, and then you're going to want to take a fork and you're going to want to stab it. Okay, you got to vent your baked potatoes because otherwise they are like little hand grenades in the oven and they can blow up, and that's happened before and it's pretty exciting. So anyway, and then at that point you can either wrap it in tin foil, which I used to do, but I've come up with a better solution, which is you put a little oil, just wrap a little oil around it. You don't need tin foil anymore. Just throw it in the oven at 350 or 75. About an hour later, you've got a baked potato. Okay, so that's that.
That's this.
Now these are cooked. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut these in half, and then we're going to dig them out. We're going to dig out the potatoes, and we're going to put it in a bowl, like this.
And you can kind of just shell it.
Yeah, and you just got to hold that skin so you don't break it, because it kind of wrecks with the presentation a little bit if you got a broken skin. So
you see I'm just kind of carving it right around there. Spoon, you're putting it just in your hand, you're holding it like a little cup. And then you can kind of, it should just almost be able to lift. You don't want to go too deep, but you want to get all that potato out. So now I should be able to fold it just right on in there.
Yeah,
and
if you cup it in your hand just right, then you can keep it from breaking. Dig it out as best you can. It's best, what I like to do is, when these things are cooked, wait about a half hour or an hour, let them cool off a little bit. If you wait till they're cold, it's a little harder to get the potato out, and it's a little hard to mix it all up together. So something to keep in mind. If they're still warm, they're easier to work with.
Okay, so you see my husband's in the kitchen right now. Typically, a lot of males aren't in the kitchen, but I'm very fortunate that I have a man who knows what? The role of a healthy man. Want to comment on that?
It's part of being truly masculine, I think. You know, we're living in a culture where masculinity and femininity is completely under attack. We're having this culture war where, you know, things are getting blurred big time. So I'll touch on masculinity a little bit. I mean, I think that true masculinity, I mean, you hear the term toxic masculinity, and I know there is such a thing, especially if you're a big brute and you hurt people, you hurt women, you hurt children. Yes, that's toxic. But authentic masculinity is one that provides for his family, protects his family, is willing to stand between his family and danger and risk his own life to save his family. It's about being supportive, and I think it's also about being a servant. So, and the one way we can serve our families and the one we can serve our mates is by helping out with the cooking. I happen to be
really good at it.
Okay, well thanks. I feel like I'm kind of good at it. I'm good at it in part because I've had a lot of experience, but I just enjoy it. And I love cooking meals for people. I especially love cooking meals for my family. So that to me is authentic masculinity. And so if you're celebrating that with me, kudos to you. So
let's move this, right?
All right.
Next stage.
So at this point now, we're going to start adding some of the ingredients, and we'll start with some sour cream. All right. And you know what? When you're doing this, there isn't an exact formula of how much of this or that. Every time you do this with a lot of things, it's going to be a little bit different, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be good. Okay, we're going to go with buttermilk next.
I think we agree on the cooking, baking side of life that you get, well, again, we've been together over 40 years, so you're going to kind of see just some likes, and we just kind of mix a little less of that, a little bit more of that throughout the cooking thing.
Yep, exactly. Butter.
That's why we're not the best measurers in our family.
Don't have the measuring thing down.
We got the taste.
Yeah, but
Ooh, that's...
I think part of good cooking is just allowing yourself to be creative and not get hung up on, having the perfect measurement of things.
Yeah, agreed.
Salt, pepper.
We like pepper. It's good for us.
And then, if you're a beginner cooker or an experienced cooker, a wonderful secret ingredient that I typically use on just about every food is cayenne pepper. Because it really just opens up your taste buds and it just makes everything so much better. You can put too much in and it can be too spicy, too hot, but if you like that, it's cool. But it really, if you just put the correct amount in, it just makes it's a world of difference. So we'll just sprinkle a little on right now, and I'll probably be adding more. And then, I think we got everything. Let's throw in some green onions. This is the onion we want in there. We have some chopped up already, so we'll just sprinkle some of those in there.
We got milk.
Yeah, we don't put milk. There's buttermilk.
Buttermilk.
Yep.
You already did that.
No, it's just
Look at that love in there. That's just pushing that stuff together.
Mash it up.
Old-fashioned masher. You can use, when we make our 20, I shouldn't say we, because I rarely do this one, but he can put it in a mixer, one of those standing mixers, or okay, you like that kind of? Am I doing pretty good?
Yeah, keep going. No, you're doing fine.
Oh, that's right. It's my workout.
I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but we have a stand mixer over here, and when we're in a production mode and I'm making 20 of these things or whatever, I do everything out of that machine over there. But for this purpose, I mean, typically you want to make just a few potatoes. This is a really simple way to do it. And again, if the potatoes are still kind of warm, it's easy to mash them up and make it soft. Maybe we put a little milk in it.
I think a little more. Or buttermilk or no?
I have some in there. Let's just put a little milk in there just to soften it up a little bit.
So that pretty green, you get the little herb and the spices onto there. And there we have it. Just a wee bit.
Yeah, there we go.
Do you squish it around like this?
Yep.
Truly, this is my first time to put my little hands onto this part. He kind of prides himself on being the best twice baked man in the house.
Well, I've gotten pretty popular with it, I have to say.
Deliver it for Christmas presents. Really, truly. It's pretty fun. I work at a terrific restaurant. We bring some treats out there now and then. I bake treats, but they've also brought some twice bake. And we're a pretty darn good restaurant, but they pale with the twice bakes compared to you, Jeffers.
Oh, I don't know
Okay,
about that.
okay, I might be stretching it just a little bit.
That's all right.
Maybe a little bit. Okay.
Here, I'm gonna
so
give
this is about the final product. You like what that looks like?
I think it looks good. Now you've got your spoon. I got mine. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead
Fight
and
for the best.
Yep, we're going to just take a skin, put it back in.
So see how we do that? Just kind of, and do we fill it not to the top or?
Yeah, about like that. I think
Okay.
that's a pretty cool presentation right there. There's no right or wrong with this.
Okay. And then you just put the cheese on afterwards.
Right, exactly.
Doesn't that look numb? It smells awfully good. And again, like I said, we usually do a whole mess of them. So you have them to freeze up and that, because it's a little bit of work, but not even that much for your dinner. If you're just going to have, you're having some beef or some fish or a bean dish.
And for you guys out there that don't really like cooking and you rely on your mate to do all the cooking, I strongly recommend you rethink your position on that, because this is a wonderful way to serve your mate, is to learn how to make food and then be a cook so that you can share that responsibility. I feel like there's a lot of women that get burned out by needing to do all of the cooking, and I don't think that's healthy for a marriage.
Yeah, back in the old days when it was like grandmas and stuff, that they would be always in the kitchen, and I get that because the guys are on the farm or they're out their businesses, but now
Exactly.
It's changed. Times changed.
Yep, it's definitely a cultural thing. So yeah. So a great way to serve your mate, cook. Create things like this. Take the risk. Learn how to do it. Have fun with it.
Yeah, and even if you have just a couple, like I hear that often, it's like my husband's the barbecuer, or my, I do this in the kitchen, just to get involved.
Speaking of which, I mean, if let's say you like using the grill. Let's say you're good at steaks. What? 1 minute. Okay. All right. So now we've got the cheese on there. Just a little bit of cheese on the top.
Still more? Are you sure?
Just a little bit. It gives it a little bit of color too, and then put some onions on there, like this. Just sprinkle them on the top. It's kind of now more of a garnish.
Okay, and this is what we were doing right here.
Yeah, and now this will go back in the oven when you're ready to have dinner, maybe 10, 15 minutes on 350. Pull it out, serve it up. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's really, really good.
We sure enjoy having kind of hopefully a balance in our relationship, for sure. And that's kind of a challenge these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
We want to celebrate both sides of the partnership, for sure.
Exactly.
Means we have to make maybe some dessert or something. He makes the potato.
Exactly.
That might work.
All right.
Okay, here it is, Toy Bakes on Universal Interiors. I hope you try it tonight. It's delicious. And again, just thanks for coming in and taking a few minutes, and either I hear from people stopping by, I only had 2 minutes, Les, I caught a little bit of it, or if you're sitting in a comfortable chair and learning this, we just really appreciate it, and we love the opportunity that the station gives us to just share what's on our heart or what's going to go in our bellies, whatever the day brings. But you make it a great one. And again, if you get too many of these, your neighbors would love it. Good way to get to know people too.
Exactly.
Right? Old-fashioned giving. Make it a great day, and we'll see you next time.